Hello everyone, in the previous video I explained the basic things about flow of control 2, and in this chapter I explained you the basic looping constructs. So the first looping construct that I explained in this chapter, that was for loop, and after the for loop I explained you while loop, and then I explained do while loop with syntax and example of each. And now in this video we will discuss about some advanced topics in this chapter regarding the for loop, do loop and while loop, and jump statements we will see side by side. So jump statements are also a type of constructs in Java. Now let's start the first topic of this video, that is different forms of for loop. So in the previous video I told you the basic things regarding the for loop, in which I told you the syntax of for loop and an example of for loop. And for loop is used to repeat a statement or statements for a number of times. So it is a type of looping construct in Java. So here we have the first point of for loop, and the first point of this for loop is multiple initialization and update statement. So the meaning of this is that in the first part of the for loop, that is called the initialization part, in which we initialize the control variables of the for loop. So as you can see here, you can initialize more than one variable in the initialization part of the for loop. So for example here I is also initialized to 1, so I is the control variable of this for loop, and then comma here it is used, and after the comma then some variable is also initialized to 0. So here two variables are initialized in the initialization part. So this is called multiple initialization. So before this semicolon you can multiple initialize the variables, and just like multiple initialization, you also have the multiple update statement, and with the help of multiple update statement you can update more than one variables in the update part of a for loop. So after the here you have the initialization, and this is the condition part, and after the condition part the last one is update part. So in the update part you can initialize more than one variables, like sum is updated here, so sum plus assign I, so I will be added up in the sum on every iteration, and it will calculate the sum of i's value. So after the comma you have I plus plus, so it will update the value of I every time. So as you can see, two variables they are being updated in this clause. So this is called multiple update statement. And next we have the system.out.println, the sum of first n numbers is sum. So this will print the sum of first natural numbers. So the natural numbers can be up to the value of n starting from the 1. So sum will be calculated within the update part of the for loop, and the value of sum will be printed here in the print line clause. Here we have the second point, and that is the optional initialization or update elements. So it means that initialization part and update part, they are optional inside the for loop. If initialization is done earlier or update clause is written inside the body of the loop, then you can skip the initialization or update part in the for loop. So Here we have the example of this, how you can skip the initialization part or update part inside a for loop. So you can see here for loop is implemented, and here first semicolon, and before the first semicolon there is no initialization written, it is skipped. So after the semicolon here the test condition will be there, and then after the test condition you will be having the update statement. So similarly you can skip the update statement also if need is there. So next we will see here integer variable is taken and the value is here given, that is 10. It means n variable is already initialized. So then we have started the for loop using n. So this is the control variable which is used inside the for loop. So here you can see n is not initialized to any value because the value is initialized previously to the n variable, so you can skip it in the for loop. So this is called the empty initialization. Then you have the condition, and after the condition you have the update statement. Here n minus minus is written, so that is the it will the value of n will be decreased one by one, and the decreased value will be printed every time. So here in the print line statement n will be printed, and then space will be printed like here. So the first value of n will be 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1, because it is in the decreasing order, because n minus minus is written and the condition is till the n is greater than 0. So greater than 0 means till 1 it will be printed, and for the next time when the n will become 0, then 0 is not greater than 0, at that time the loop will stop. Next we have the third part, that is the update statement can be considered optional. Means in the similar way as we skip the initialization part, similarly we can also skip the update part. For example, here test condition is written and after the test condition there is no update part written. So see the example here, integer m is 0, then for loop is used here because m is initialized already, so that's why initialization is skipped here, and after the initialization then one condition is implemented, and after the condition, as you can see, update part is also skipped. You can skip the update part if the updation is done inside the body of for loop, like here m plus plus is written inside the body of for loop, so that's why no need to write it again here inside the update part. So this is the called that's why the update statement is optional. And here we are given one more point, that the update statement can also be written in the different forms, like here plus plus I is written. So plus plus I is a prefix increment operator, so you can write here I plus plus, and you can also write here plus plus I to increase the value of control variable. So for example, here m plus plus was written, that is postfix increment. So if the plus plus operator is coming after the variable name, that is postfix, but if that plus plus operator is coming before the variable name, like here, it is called prefix increment, and you can use any from these. And second form is like here I plus assign 2 is written, so it means the i's value will be increased by 2 every time, not by 1. So if you want an increment of 2 in the control variables value, you can write like here I plus assign 2. So I will start from 1, for the next time the i's value will not be 2, it will be 3, and when the next iteration will come, then the value of I will become 5 and 7, so on, because every time the increment of 2 is there. Here we have the next point, that is the test condition element is basically used to control the iteration or the loops. It means the number of times a loop will work, it is based on the test condition. So firstly the test condition will be checked, and based on that iterations will be made. So if the condition element is skipped, then it will create an infinite loop. So what is an infinite loop? So infinite loop means a loop that never stops automatically. So for that you might have skipped the condition. So if condition is not written inside the loop, like here initialization is done, update part is also written here, but condition is not written. So if you have not written the condition, it will result in infinite loop. So this loop will become never ending loop. So you have to stop forcefully this program, but this program will not stop automatically, because the CPU will run this loop continuously. So that is called infinite loop. And here is next point, that is empty loop. So an empty loop is a loop without a body, means a loop which is implemented, it is using the, or it is consuming the CPU time, but it is not performing any action, or it is not displaying any message on the screen. So that is called empty loop. And here an example is given. Now for loop is here semicolon will come, and this is the initialization part, I is 1, this is the condition, I is less than equals 5, and after the condition plus plus I is the update part, and it will increase the value of I by 1. And here you can see, after writing this loop, immediately one semicolon is inserted here. It means this is the loop without body, because loop will end up here and it is not having any statement inside the loop. So this will become an empty loop, because a semicolon is added after the loop. So this loop will work continually, but it will not perform any action on the screen, and it will not print anything on the screen. And the next line, like system dot out dot print line I plus space, this line is a separate line. So after the loop, this is a separate condition. This condition is not under the body because semicolon is there. If you will remove the semicolon, then next statement will be the body of loop. But if a semicolon is added immediately after the loop, then it will become an empty loop. So now let me tell you why we use the empty loops in Java. So here is the reason behind it, that empty loops, as they do not display any message on the screen, but they execute continually for a several number of times till the condition is true, but they will not print any message on the screen. So it means if you want to add some type of delay in the program, some type of you can say break or time break or delay or pause in the program, so for adding that pause or add that delay, you can use the empty loops in Java. So for example, suppose you have printing 1 to 10 numbers you have printed, and after printing 10 numbers you want to give a break. Similarly, after the break or after the pause, 20 to 30 numbers are printed, again you want to give a pause. So for giving a pause for the delay purpose, you can use the empty loops in Java. So that is the reason why programmers use empty loop inside the program. Here we have the next topic, that is variation in the while loop. So now we will discuss different types of variation in the while loop. So while loop is also a type of loop that you can use to repeat some conditions, some statements again and again. So here is the first point, that is an update statement can be a part of the condition. So it means where the part where you write the condition, for example here inside the while loop, this is the initialization and this is the while condition, and inside the condition you can use the update clause. For example, here you can see inside the body no update statement is written, like plus plus x or x plus plus, nothing is written here, because inside the body if the update part is not written, that you can write here in the condition itself. So here condition is plus plus x less than 5. So it means it will increase the value of x also, and at the same time it will check the condition also. So the x value is 1, and here inside the condition the value will become 2, and after it is 2 it will be checked that 2 is less than 5, so the condition will become true, and this statement, next statement, will be printed. So this is the first point, that the condition can be merged with the update part, or update part can be merged within the condition itself. Here is the second point, that a while loop when written without any update statement will result in an indefinite loop. So this rule is for all the loops, although while, for, or any other type of loop is there, that if you have not written the update statement inside a loop, then it will become indefinite loop or infinite loop, because here you can see condition is there, initialization is there, but update part is not written, neither inside the body not inside the condition. So this loop will become infinite loop, because every time the value of x will remain 1, and every time the condition will be true, and that's why this loop will continually work, because false condition will never come. And here is the next topic, that a while loop can be used as an empty loop to add a pause, that is wait time, during the program execution. So this I told you already, that why we use the empty loops. So an empty loop can be used to add some type of pause, that is wait, or that you can also call delay in the program. So if you want any type of if you want to create any type of delay for the user, then you can use the empty loop. For example, here x is 0 and the while loop is there, and this while loop will perform the 10,000 iterations. Here as you can see, the condition is up to the 10,000, so it will perform the 10,000 iterations, but it will not print any action on the screen or any message on the screen. So that's why it is an empty loop, but it will create a type of delay, because the CPU will be busy in the performing these iterations, although it is not doing anything. So that's why you can use the empty loop for adding delay in the program. And here is the next point, that is variations in the do while loop. So do while loop is an exit control loop. So the first point is the data type of the control variable is not specific, so you can use any data type for the control variable, not only in do while but in any type of a loop. So for example, here if you want to use the integer type control variable, or if you want to use the any other type like float, double, character, so you can use any type for the control variable. So here you can see the example of this. Here public class test is there, public static void main is also there, and here I variables data type is double, and the value of this data type is 3. So here is the next point, and the next point is the user can use a boolean value as a tested condition. So inside all the loop you can also perform the boolean test condition inside the loop. For example, here not I is written, and that is a boolean condition, and the control variable, that is I, it is also of a boolean type. So according to the boolean condition, it will perform the repetitions. So this is the boolean condition. And here is the next point, that is you can create an empty loop by including a null statement in the loop body. So a null statement is an empty statement. For example, you can see here do is there, and after the do a set of curly bracket is there, but inside the set of curly bracket there is no statement, so that is a null statement. So it is also an empty loop. It will also work for the 20 times like here condition is written, but it will not repeat anything, or it will not show you anything on the screen. So that's why this is the empty loop which is created by adding a null statement. And now here we have the next topic, and the next type of statements we have, that is the jump statements in Java. So the jump statements, they are used to transfer the control inside the program from one place to another place inside the program unconditionally. So for that we have two statements in Java. So the two statements which are the jump statements, they are break and continue. So actually we use two keywords for these two type of statements. One is the break keyword and other is the continue keyword. So here is the explanation of break. Firstly, you can use the break keyword or continue keyword inside any loop to break the execution of the loop. So jump statement also has its own purpose, and firstly I will explain that is the break statement, and let's have a in-depth view of break and continue statements. So as I already told you, two keywords break and continue, they are used for jumping purpose. So here we have the break statement. So break condition, break keyword, if you are adding break keyword inside the loop, so unconditionally it will take the control out of the loop. So you can use or you can use the break keyword inside for loop or do while or while loop, and unconditionally it will take the control out of the loop. So for example here one loop is implemented here. N variable is the control variable, and the value of n is 1. Condition is until it is less than 10. So it means it will work for 10 times. N plus plus is written here. This is the for loop body, and inside the body we have implemented a condition that if n's value is 5, then it will print this loop aborted message, and then break keyword is added. And after this if condition, so this is the body of if condition. After the if condition, one more statement is there inside this for loop, and the statement after the if, that is system.out.println n plus double quotes comma is there. So for the first time n will be 1, so n is not equal 5, that's why if will not work and 1 will be printed, and then 2 will be printed, and next time the value of n will become 3, and again it is not 3, that 3 will be printed, then the value of n will become 4, so it is less than 10, this condition is false, and 4 will be printed, and next time the value of n will become 5, and here n's value is 5, so that's why condition is true of the if. And now what will happen, it will print loop aborted, then break keyword will take the control out of the loop. Okay, and now this loop will work only for the 5 times, that is 1 2 3 4, and for the 5th time loop aborted message will be printed on the screen, and then you will be out of the loop, and loop will stop its execution. So it will not execute 10 times, but it has executed only for the 5 times, because break keyword has suspended the execution of the for loop. So this is the work of break keyword inside the loop, that if you want to abort the loop, or if you want to stop the loop, you can use the break keyword inside the loop. And here some points are given that you must keep in mind while using the break keyword. First is, if the break keyword is used inside switch, so if you are using inside the switch statement break keyword after every case, then it will transfer the control, or it will break the particular switch construct only. So second is, if the break is used inside the nested loop means a loop within a loop. So suppose the break keyword is in the nested loop, then it will stop the immediate loop. Immediate loop is the loop inside which the break keyword is written. So suppose the break keyword is inside the inner loop, then only inner loop will stop, not the outer. But if the break keyword is written inside the outer loop, then it will stop the outer loop also. And the next statement is a continue statement. So continue statement can also be used inside any looping construct, but continue keyword or the continue statement is used to skip the iterations. So suppose inside the loop, after the continue keyword some statements are written. If the continue keyword will occur in the loop, then after the continue keyword the statements inside the loop they will be skipped. So this is the use of a continue keyword. So this you have to keep in mind. Here we will see the example of it. For example, here we have the same loop 1 to 10, and inside the loop it is written n modulus 5 equals 0. Then it will show division by 5, iteration aborted, and then continue keyword is written, and after the continues that print line statement is written. So this statement will be skipped if the continue keywords condition is true. So here for example, first 1 2 3 and 4 is printed here, and for the fifth it is showing divisible by 5, and that iteration is aborted, so that iteration is skipped. And after that 6 7 8 and 9 will be printed, and 10's iteration will be skipped because these two conditions are true, because 5 modulus 5 0 will be there, and 10 modulus 5 and the remainder will be 0. So for the two times the iteration will be skipped with the help of a continue keyword. And whenever the continue keyword will come here, the control will be transferred from here only back to the next iteration. So control will not go to the next condition when the continue keyword will occur, so the print statement will be skipped. So continue keyword will transfer the control to the next iteration. So this is the working of a continue keyword in Java. So that's all in this video. I hope you have understood the advanced topics of this chapter very well. So your feedback is always valuable. Please do like and comment this video. So thanks for watching this video again.